Morning, the Sfas Emes, Parshas Pinchos, Tov Reish Lamed Aleph. Sfas Emes, as we mentioned many times, wrote his own words, Pinchos, Tov Reish Lamed Aleph, the Kitzur. In short and brief, just the Roshi Dvorim, the highlights. In the Medrash it says, B'din Sheyidol Schoroi, that Pinchos is worthy of receiving by judgment his reward, because he was a Kohen from before as well. There's a machlokes whether or not Pinchos was a Kohen before the action or later, but there he was a Kohen out of his own love and charity towards Hashem, towards Chai Yisrael. It's known through fear of heaven. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives a separate ahava, a special love. As the Tanya writes, on what it says, Avodas matona etein kunaschem, that because of the work of the Kohanim themselves, the HaKadosh Baruch Hu out of ahava gives a higher level of matona, of present, to be a kohen. Therefore, that's why kuna is found in the seed of Aaron forever, for generations. That's matona. It's a present, because as Korach argued, who says that his grandchildren will be worthy, but it doesn't matter. That's why we mentioned in one of our Torahs that the stick that Aaron placed, which sprouted forth, did not only sprout forth fruits, walnut, almonds, it sprouted out as well flowers and others. But Pinchos merited through judgment the priesthood and for generations. It's interesting, the Gemara tells us that most of the Kohanim Gedolim were from the seed of Pinchos, and therefore, because he atoned for Klal Yisrael, through that, the schar was an internal one as well, because he benefited Klal Yisrael for generations to come, for all time. It says, in his jealousy, by taking on my jealousy amongst them. That means he didn't go out of them. He didn't separate himself from Klal Yisrael through this jealousy, this anger. But he did it, in fact, for their benefit. The Posek states witness. They didn't do it in order to say, I'll attain greatness from this, or I'll achieve reward from this. But he wanted Klal Yisrael to understand the importance of making sure that they are moral people, they keep the Torah. And he wanted to show that even though Israel sinned, there are amongst them people who can stand up. That's why it's interesting. Moshe Rabbeinu forgot the din, but how could Moshe Rabbeinu forget anything? It was because HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to give somebody else the ability of choice, and that choice was taken by Pinchos, and that's how the anger of Hashem became quiet, and therefore. But because of that, Moshe Rabbeinu did not make him the leader, because it has to be a simple person, somebody's within Klal Yisrael. Or perhaps he means that for this reason, Moshe Rabbeinu didn't make him a Kohen, because it had to be through his individualness within Klal Yisrael. And one can also say that that's why he wasn't anointed earlier. As Rashi says, he needed this matana because he was not anointed. That's according to the opinion that Pinchos prior to this was not a kohen, and that's a question in and of itself. Why wasn't he anointed together with the other Kohanim? But it could be that he had to be an individual of Klal Yisrael to merit for Klal Yisrael to merit being forgiven. If he had been a kohen already, then he wouldn't have been able, he would have done what he did, but from an elevated point of being a clergyman, so as to speak. But he received it as a simple Jew acting on behalf of others, and he did it. He adds the wording of Rashi, of what we say, the Medrash Bedin Sheitel Schoroi, that it means that he did Bedin, through his understanding of what was the liability of Zimri, that's why he should receive his reward. That he did through love of Klal Yisrael justice. He received the matona of Kahuna, which is a matona from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, as it says, Avodas matona etein, I give it to you as a batona. And Medrash it says that the Kahuna originally it was supposed to be Shem's, it belonged to Shem ben Noach, and afterwards it was given to Avram Avinu. And we find this also in Tilon. David HaMelech says, Al Devrosi Malki Tzedek, that because Malki Tzedek who is Shem, gave over the Kahuna to Avram. Therefore, it came from Avram afterwards to Yitzchak, to Yaakov, to Levi, and ultimately to Aaron. And furthermore, it says, there it's written, Yerushalayim Sholem, Malki Tzedek Melech Sholem. In Avram is called Yiro, and that's where you get the name of Yerushalayim, Yiro and Sholem. As Avram said, Amokim, he called the name of the place Hashem Yiro, because Shem did not merit through his actions, but he was chosen because he was the most appropriate for Kahuna. That's a concept of peace that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave to Sholem. He gave to Shem, which made him complete Sholem, as it will be complete in everything. And the rule is that the point that HaKadosh Baruch Hu causes everything to exist is complete. There's also peace. And therefore HaKadosh Baruch Hu finds only brocha where there is peace. That's why the brocha of the Kahanim is also called Birchas Sholem, and it's in the last brocha, which is Sim Sholem. And that's why it's called Shabbos. That's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu calls, we say Shabbos Sholem and Vorach B'Chasidim, with the idea of Sholem, because when the Shabbos is Sholem, then you have the completeness of Vayvoch Elokim Yisrael Shabbos. And then Lo Yimotza HaKadosh Baruch Hu Kli Machzik Brocha. HaKadosh Baruch Hu did not find the vessel which holds Brocha as Sholem. And that's why we say on Friday night, we end Ashkivenu, Poirei Sugar Sholem. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should spread out his peace on us, because on Shabbos there's a special illumination of HaKadosh Baruch Hu as a matona, as a present, that we don't have to work on it. And it says, Matona Gnuzi Yeshu B'Gnozai, the Medrash says, I have this special treasure in my treasure house, and I'm giving it to Klal Yisrael. And Avram Avinu was able to achieve this completeness of this present through his avodah, through his service. That's why it's called Yiro, Yeroah, that from the fear of a man, he benefits not only to fear Hashem, but to see the goodness of Hashem, the avo, the love of Hashem that comes to him as a present. That was by the Akedah, where Avram achieved that level. It was a concept of strength, as the Zohar Kodesh says, that this was the ultimate and final of the 10 tests, Nisyonis that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave Avram. Then everything was complete. The Ahava, which is the midas of Avram, of Chesed and Ahava to Hashem and to fellow man. And that's why he was complete, even though he acted towards his son in a way which is difficult to accept unless you understand the concept of love for Hashem. And he acted so that all of us should be able to achieve this ahava. This is a concept that Ma'aser Ovis Im Labonim. If we can achieve anything, it's because of the Ovis. Through the fear, and he added fear to Sholem, to completeness, and it became Yerushalayim. And every Shabbos Kodesh, we merit through the work days that we fear Hashem during the week to Shabbos, when we don't have to work, we don't have to worry about doing something wrong. To ahava and a present from Hashem Yisborach. That's what it means, yira, yeroeh. That when there's a mitzvah of yira, 3 times a year we have to go up to the Beis HaMikdash. And the Chazal tell us, it says yira, yeroeh. The word is spelled yira, yud, resh, aleph, hey. It can be to see and be seen. That just as a person comes to see, so he is seen by Hashem. That meaning he's seen, and that HaKadosh Baruch Hu's view of him causes him to be also exposed to spirituality. Then he writes, I'm not sure if I said all this. So too Pinchos merited through his jealousy the idea of love and chesed. In the Gemara, it says sholem, peace, when a person is complete without any blemish. In Zohar Kodesh it says, the question, why is a Baal Mum, a Kohen who has a blemish, forbidden to do the work? How we find HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I am among the afflicted, I am with them. And he wants broken vessels, so therefore was a Kohen not permitted to do the work, avoid in the holy service of in the Beis HaMikdash, when he has a blemish, he's not complete. But there's a difference between somebody whose heart is broken, and there the greatness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu can dwell upon him, and that is the completeness in the inner being. Whereas an outer blemish is not made by the person. That's something that he has from his existence. And Rashi writes that the Shvatim, the other tribes, were upset with the action of Pinchos, and they berated him that he killed a prince of a shevet, Chas v'sholem. It doesn't mean that Sfas Emes says that he didn't do good, but they understood that an individual could not have done this, and he did this for all of them, as it says, "B'soicham, kanis kinosi b'soicham." My jealousy amongst them, with them, like being part of them. That's why the Pasuk says he's like Aaron HaKohen, that the midah of Aaron was oyev sholem, he loves peace, and all of his deeds were for all of Yisrael. Miyuchid b'shem kol Yisrael, that he should be, that this is the reason I was chosen to do the karbonos for all of Klal Yisrael. May we merit seeing the Av of the Kahanim fulfilled completely by not only the Birchas Kahanim, by doing the Avodah in the Beis HaMikdash, Meir V'Yameinu, Amen.